Hey guys, welcome back for another Razer Chroma profile tutorial video. For this design, I decided to make something that I've been wanting to make for a really long time. And it's a profile for my personal favorite streamer that I like to watch on Twitch. And that person is Aydan, or some of you might know him as Ghost Aydan. But anyways, I'm a really big fan. His streams are awesome to watch because he's super competitive in gaming. He's always constantly pushing high kill games, and he's always playing for money for wagers and stuff like that. So he's really entertaining to watch. And if you guys don't know who he is, I'll leave a link to his Twitch channel in the description below. Please go check him out if that is something that interests you. But for today's profile, I've decided to recreate his logo that he has on his stream. So if you guys are really big fans of Aydan, you guys are really gonna like this design. And if you're not, I'm still gonna teach you guys how I made the design. So maybe you guys will learn a little bit more about Razer Synapse, and maybe we'll bump up your guys' skill set with the Razer Synapse 3 program. As always, there will be a download link in the description where you can go and download this profile and get it on your guys' keyboards. And there's also going to be a showcase at the end of this video showing you guys exactly what the profile looks like. There'll also be a link to that in the description as well. So here we go with the tutorial, guys. I hope you guys enjoy this design. Let's get started. Alright guys, so I'm going to put an image over the screen right now and kind of show you guys what his logo looks like and show you guys what we're trying to achieve with this profile. So we're going to try and put this logo on our keyboards, and we're going to start with a blank slate. So I've already added a brand new profile, and I've already organized my layout, how I want my lighting zones to be. You can do that with the crosshairs right here. Just go ahead and select that, and you can move your devices around to match what your setup looks like. All right. It starts you out with a spectrum cycling layer. We're going to click these three dots, and we're going to change that to a wave layer. As with all my designs, I like to focus on the keyboard first. So I'm going to hold the control key, and I'm just going to scroll wheel in a couple times and just try and get my keyboard in the middle of my screen. So just like that, with this wave layer selected, we're going to select all of our key options, and we're going to click this color drop down right here, and we're going to choose the 3-node option. We're going to leave the first and third nodes black, and we're going to click on this middle node, and we're going to use also a really dark color, almost black. We're going to use 050505, and that's going to give us a very, very dark white. Okay, and we're going to click off this window, and I'm going to change the speed here to about 9. That looks good. And I'm going to leave the width the same. I'm going to change the angle down at 180 degrees and check this split option. Okay, and it looks like there's nothing going on with the keyboard. It looks like it's just black and nothing's happening, but there is some very subtle light that definitely shows on your keyboard. We're going to double click on this lighting zone to select all of our lighting zones that we just changed, and we are going to hold the control key, and we're just going to select every other key lighting option. Just deselect every other key, or about half of what you've chosen. So there, I've gone through and I've kind of selected about half of my keys. It doesn't have to be perfect every other key, just deselect a handful of them. All right, so with that done, I'm going to click on my color drop down. So my end nodes, I'm going to make 050505 for this left node. Also on the right node, same thing, 050505. And my middle node, I'm going to come back and I'm going to make that just black, so 6 zeros. So all that looks good. And now I'm also going to change my speed here by 1, and I'm just going to change the width percentage as well, just to like 105, and that just adds some randomness to the background, so you don't really get a repeated pattern. Okay, so that looks good. I'm going to hit save, and that's going to finish our first layer. So this will be the background of the Aydan profile. So now that we're done with this layer, I'm just going to double click on the layer itself, and I'm going to rename that to background just to get some organization going with our profile. So this is going to be the background, and now I'm going to add a new wave layer, which is going to go above that, and we're going to be working in this wave layer to create his logo itself. So with this new wave layer, we are going to just double click and we're going to rename it to logo. That looks good. And we are going to start off with the gold parts of his logo. Okay. So I'm going to hold the control key and I'm just going to select out an A shape here, or the gold part of his logo. And with that, I'm going to click on my color drop down, and here I'm going to choose a 3-tone pattern here. Okay, and I'm going to click on this yellow for the left node initially, and I'm just going to drag that a little bit over towards the orange until I get, you know, a gold pattern that I'm comfortable with. So I like the way this looks right here. I'm going to double click on that, copy that, and I'm going to paste that on the right side here as well. So we have the same color on each side, and I'm also going to paste that in the middle, but with my middle node, I'm just going to change that darker. So we kind of have a little bit of a pattern going. Once we're done with that, we're going to leave our angle the same. I'm going to reduce the speed down a little bit just because 15 gets a little bit wild for my taste. If you want to keep it there, that's fine. That's what this is all about. You get to make it how you want it. I'm going to choose the split option, and what that does is it just kind of gets the pattern distributing itself across, you know, each side of this A frame, just like this. And that's all we're going to do for the A. Next, we're going to create that halo that is at the top of his logo. So I'm going to hold the control key once again, and with this same wave layer, we don't need to make a new wave layer for this. With this same wave layer, I'm going to select these keys right here, and I'm going to click on the color drop down, and this time I'm going to choose a 5-node pattern. So we got more nodes that we're working with here, and we should still have that orange or gold color that we copied. So I'm going to click on this second node here, and I'm going to paste that orange node, that orange color, into there. And I'm also going to go to this 4th node and do the same thing. Okay, so we have that gold color that we created in here. Now what I'm going to do for the first and last nodes is very similar. I'm going to paste in that orange node, but I'm going to drag this way darker. Okay, so we have a really, really dark gold color here, and I'm going to copy this hex code and I'm paste it on the last one. Okay, paste it there. So just so you guys know, when you guys are creating wave layers, it's best to have your first node and your last node always be the exact same color. That way when your wave starts over again, you don't get a sudden like change of color. It's a smooth transition and your wave looks clean. Last, we're going to change the middle node, and we're just going to make this middle node white. So you got 6 Fs as a hex code. And we're going to take the second node and the 4th node, and we're just going to pinch those in a little bit just to make our white space a little bit smaller. So if you look at our gradient bar here, this kind of looks like a 3D ring or a halo. So you got a highlight here and it fades to darkness just as if it would if it was a round shape. Okay, and we have that going on right there on those keys. So that's all we're going to do for the halo part of it. Maybe I'll change the speed down a little bit because it is going a bit fast. So I'm going to change it down to 8. 8 looks good for me. That's it. I'm going to hit save there. And next we have the wings, or the white portion of his logo. This is the most complicated part of the design. I am going to stay on this same wave layer. We don't need to change wave layers at all. So end goal is that we have all of our white space, and we're going to fill up these keys right here. So this will be the left portion of his design, and these keys over here will be the right portion of his design. Okay, so at the end, all of these will eventually be white and lit up, but we gotta animate it so that the wings are opening in the design. Okay, so what we're gonna start off with first is we're gonna start off with these keys right here. So with these keys selected, we're going to click on our color drop down, and we're gonna choose a 5-node pattern here, and we're gonna delete this middle node here. So we only have 4 nodes, okay? 4 nodes. And the first and last node should be invisible, all right? So we got 2 invisible nodes, and then in the middle, we're going to have white. So 6Fs as your hex code. And we're gonna move this clear node on the right from the edge, and we're just gonna move it in just a little bit. And this white node, we are going to bring it all the way up against the clear node, and then we're gonna move it just the slightest amount. Okay, so there's just a small space in there. Same thing over here on the left side. So it's a little bit away from the edge, and we're going to drag this white up against it and just give it a little bit of space, just like this. Real quick, before we proceed with anything else, we're gonna click down here off of this window. And when I animate my lighting in Razer Studio, I always go with an angle of 0, because this is the only way currently that you can really add frames to your lighting. Okay, so you're adding frames to your image. So we have that there. Now we're going to change our width percentage to 400%. So we have a 400%, which is the most you can go. That just makes our design last a bit longer. And we're gonna change our speed down to 10, okay? So these are gonna be our settings here for every wing portion of this logo that we're making, every white portion. As you can see, when the white comes on, they don't all come on at once. We want this to open up, and we want all of these ones to come on at once. To do this, each lighting zone that is on the same horizontal row has to have the same details. And if it's on a different horizontal row, it's got to change a detail slightly so that each row is unique. I'll show you what I mean. So if I double click on this, all of these have that same white effect, that same wave effect. And if I hold Control, deselect the bottom 2, and I click on my drop down, and I click on my white color here, if I just change this last code, this last digit of my hex code by 1, and now I'm also going to hold Control and deselect this line as well. I'm going to select my white node here again, and I'm going to change my second digit from an F to an E. Okay, so I'm going to hit save there. So now, because each row of keys is unique and they're their own value, they're going to start at the same time rather than working together and only holding that pattern within itself. So now all keys will light up at the same time, and we can start working our way out. Now the next couple keys I want to change are these 2 keys right here, and I'm going to work in the same horizontal line. So this has an effect. I'm going to just copy that, and I'm going to paste that into these 2 right here. So right now they're all lighting up at the same time, but what we want is these 2 keys that we have selected to light up right after the one before it. And to do that, what we're going to do is click on our drop down here, and this is a timeline here. Okay, it doesn't really say it's a timeline, but what we have in this gradient bar right here is a timeline. And what we're going to do now is we're going to select this inside white node here. We're going to click this add button. That added a new white node in the middle. I'm going to drag this all the way over to the other white node that you don't really see here. I'm going to click on that one, and I'm going to make this one invisible. And now I'm going to delete this right invisible node. So what this did is it moved my timeline in a little bit. So this is the beginning of our timeline over here on the right. And the key starts by not being lit up, and your timeline's going, and then it hits the white, and then it starts to lighten up. So by moving this node over to the left a little bit, this key, these keys out here, are going to light up after the ones in that we started with. So I'm going to do the same thing on the end. I'm just going to move these in a little bit. So I'm going to create a new node here, and I'm going to drag that over to the white. Select this first white node, make that invisible, delete this one, and we're just going to drag the white over a little bit, create a little bit of space there. So we have a gradient bar that's slightly smaller, which means these two keys on the outside are going to start right after, and they're going to turn off right before the other ones do. So you see it starts right after, and when it starts to turn off, it turns off right before. So that looks good. Now we're going to move to the next part, and for that we're going to copy the one we just recently changed. We're going to copy that, and we're going to paste that into this key and this key, this key, and this key. And right now it looks really weird. It's all messed up, but we're going to change it. So click on our color drop down, and we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to just move this gradient bar in a little bit. So select this key or this node, add a new one, drag that over to the right, make the original white node invisible, delete this invisible node, create a little bit of space there. Same thing, create a new white node, drag that over to this side, make this original white node invisible, delete this invisible node, and put a little bit of space in there. Just like that. And we're just going to repeat this process as we go through making the wing design. So that looks good right there. I'm going to hit save. So these are still messed up here because we didn't make each horizontal row unique. So you can see how messed up the design is because these rows are not unique. So to fix that, hold Control, deselect this horizontal line, and the zones on this horizontal line we are going to make different. So we'll change this F to an E and hit save. So now it should all open properly. Just like that. So you'll have the first line, second, and then third. Bang, just like that. And now we're going to do the last part of the wings. We're going to copy one of the zones that we just created, and we're going to hold Control, and we're going to select these last 5 keys right here, and we're going to hit paste. And now we're just going to do the same exact thing that we've always done. Okay, so clicking on this node, adding a new one, dragging that over, make the original white node invisible, delete that one, add a little bit of space. Same thing, create a new white node, drag that over, original white node goes to invisible, delete the invisible node, and create a little bit of space. Okay, so there, we'll hit save, and that should be everything we need for the main logo portion of his design. Also with this wave layer, the logo wave layer, I'm going to create the caps lock and num lock indicator, and that's very easy. I'm just going to hold Control, select the caps lock and the num lock key, click on my color drop down. I'm going to choose this 5 node pattern here. I'm going to make this first node that gold color. So I pasted that darker one in, but that's fine. I'm just going to drag this all the way up to the end, if it will go, just like that. I'm going to copy this code, and I'm going to paste that in the 4th one, just like this. So we're going to make, so we got black, gold, black, gold, black. Okay. I'm going to leave the speed the same, just like that. I'm going to change my start to on selected keys, and I'm going to end on selected keys. Okay. And now we have to separate these and make these unique from each other, the num lock and the caps lock. So I'm just going to hold Control, deselect my caps lock key, and we're going to change the code by 1 on the num lock key from a 7 to an 8. So now if you press your caps or your num lock, you'll have a yellow and black glowing caps lock indicator. Okay, and that'll be for your caps lock and for your num lock key, just like that. So last thing for the keyboard portion of this design is I'm going to add a reactive layer, and I'm just going to select all of my keys here. If you have the Tartarus, you can select those as well. And I'm going to change the color of my reactive to that gold color. So I'm just going to paste in what I previously used there. And now we're going to add the rest of our lighting zones for our setup. So if you're zoomed in, a quick tip is you can hold Control and press 0, and it will put all of your devices, all of your lighting zones into full view for you. So if you didn't know, you're welcome. Switching back to the logo one real quick though, I'm going to copy what I did for this halo design, and I'm going to copy that effect, those exact details that we made, go back into my background layer, and I'm going to select my Razer HDK lighting kit here, and I'm going to also select my Basilisk Ultimate docking station, and I'm going to paste in that design on to those options there. I'm also going to paste that design onto the side of my Basilisk, so we're going to paste that on there, but with this I'm going to angle it up at 0 degrees and choose the split option. So actually I'm going to angle this down at 180. I think it looks better when it's opening, but you guys can do what you want. So now if you look, you have a split halo ring that's on your Basilisk. Okay, so I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste that on the right side, but we don't want it to mess with how the left side looks, so we'll make this a little bit unique. We'll change this one of the nodes by one value, so we'll change that from an A to a B, which makes it look exactly the same, but it's unique and different. Real quick, this design, the halo lighting that I did for my HDK strips and docking station, I'm just going to copy that. I'm putting that on my mouse as well. I'm going to put it on my scroll wheel and my Razer logo. Now with the lighting zones that go around my Huntsman, I'm going to select my whole keyboard, hold Control and deselect the keys. So now I just have the zones around. I'm going to click on this color drop down, and I'm going to choose a 5-node pattern here, just like this. I'm going to delete this middle node, drag these in. Outside here can be black, that's fine. And the inside nodes here, I'm going to make the gold color, okay? Just like this. I'm going to check that split option again. I am going to create a little bit of space here so the transition between the gold and the black is a little more subtle. And I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste that onto my mouse pad. Okay, so that's exactly the same, but I'm going to make it unique because right now it messes up the lighting and it's not splitting my keyboard like I wanted it to. So if I make this unique and different from the other one by changing that value by 1, now you can see the keyboard and the mouse pad split evenly. And I'm just going to keep doing that. I'm going to paste that on this and make it unique. Click on that, change that by a value of 1. So that's unique. And I'm going to do the same thing over here on my Tartarus. I'm going to select this outer ring on the Tartarus, and I'm going to paste in that same exact thing we did over there. Make it unique. So I'm going to change the black up this time, make that at 1. Just like this. So you got a little bit of design going on your Tartarus. And your reactive, if we go back to the reactive, just to make it a little bit different from what's going on the Tartarus, we can select that and we'll make the Tartarus all white. That way there's a little bit of contrast on the Tartarus when you select keys. So last but not least, we have our Razer Nomo speakers. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the wheel effect. So we have this wheel layer. We are going to put that right in the middle, and we are going to select our left speaker. Click on our color drop down, 5-node pattern, and we're going to basically do what we did for the halo portion. So we have the gold color here in the middle, gold color here as well. We're going to have white in the very middle, and we can leave black on the ends, that's fine. And we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to close off the white a little bit, and I'm actually going to close off the orange a bit here too, just like that. So now if you look at our Nomos, you have ring lighting that's going around your Nomo. Okay, and I'm actually going to duplicate this layer, and with this new wheel layer selected, I'm going to drag the center of our rotation over here to my other speaker, and I'm going to copy what we have going on this left one, and I'm going to paste that on our right one. And then once we have that pasted, I'm going to go back and I'm going to delete what we have on the left one. And now with this right side, I'm going to change the direction as well. And that's how you make this profile. I hope you guys liked it. Here's going to be the showcase for the Aydan profile. Thanks. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys learned a little something from this video. If not, I hope you guys enjoyed the profile. If you don't know who Aydan is, please go check him out. I promise you, if you like battle royale style video games, you are going to like his streams. He's also got a really good personality. So make sure you guys go and check him out. That's going to do it for this one, guys. Leave a comment in the comment section below and let me know what you guys thought about the profile. And I will see you guys hopefully in the next video. Thanks.